It was just about a fortnight back that we saw Manchester City lift this glistening piece of silverware, but guess what? It won't be too long that you'll have to wait for the Premier League action to resume. Yes, the Premier League has gone ahead and announced the schedule for the 2023-2024 season, and over the next few minutes what we're going to do is we're going to look at the opening fixtures for all the teams and also be looking at the first 5 fixtures for the major Premier League teams. We'll be talking about City, we'll be talking about the runners-up Arsenal, we'll be talking about Manchester United, Chelsea. We'll also be looking at Newcastle's fixture, and of course we will end the show by looking at Liverpool's run of games as well, as far as the first 5 games are concerned. Without wasting any more time, let's quickly get into the opening fixtures for the 2023-2024 season of the Premier League. It starts on the 11th of August, which happens to be a Friday, and you see the 2022-2023 champions, the defending champions, will now be going to Burnley. It will be interesting though, because you've got Wassau Company over there, the former Manchester City guy managing Burnley over there. Very interesting, as he will play host to the defending champions. He will know, of course, a lot of players there in the Manchester City squad, in particular Kevin De Bruyne, somebody whom he's worked closely with in the past. But this is what your opening fixture for the 2023-24 season is going to be looking like. So at Burnley is where we begin the title defense for Manchester City for the upcoming season. Let's now talk about the other games that will be taking place. On Saturday, the 12th of August, you will have action shift to the Emirates, where Arsenal will be hosting Nottingham Forest. Then you'll have Bournemouth playing West Ham, Brighton playing Luton, one of the other clubs as well that has gained promotion this year. Everton, who managed to stay somehow in the league last year, or in last season I should say, they will play host to Fulham. Sheffield United will host Crystal Palace. As far as Newcastle United are concerned, at the James's Park, you will see Aston Villa be visiting over there. Then you'll have on Sunday, you'll have Brentford playing host to Tottenham Hotspur, who will be looking for a resurgence this year after the disappointment in last year. Chelsea then will be hosting Liverpool. Now that's the fixture to look forward to as far as the opening week is concerned. The opening week, this has to be the biggest fixture on the list over there. When action shifts to Stamford Bridge, Chelsea didn't have the season they would have liked. They finished way below the mark, and it'll be interesting to see as to how the squad comes together under the new manager as they play Liverpool at home in their opening fixture. And then the last fixture happens to be Manchester United taking on Wolves at their own den, which is Old Trafford. So this is what the opening round of fixture will look like for all the Premier League teams. But like we told you, we're going to take a step further and be looking at the top 5 fixtures as well, rather the first 5 fixtures I should say, for a few of these teams. Let's start with the defending champions. They play Burnley, as we said earlier as well. Then of course it's a tricky fixture for them in many ways, because they host Newcastle United. After all the highs that we saw Manchester City achieve, there will be some sort of a challenge you expect from Newcastle as well, because they too showed a lot of promise and got that 4th finish as well in the 2022-2023 season. Then you've got Manchester City travelling to Sheffield, followed by a game that they host again at the Etihad, and that will be Fulham. And then of course they'll be travelling to the London Stadium when they play West Ham United. When you look at all the first 5 fixtures, you see Manchester City winning most of those fixtures. The one fixture, if you ask me, which could get a little tricky for them in some way, not in a huge manner, could possibly be the home fixture that they have against Newcastle United. But Manchester City, with all that they've achieved, treble winners for the previous season, every reason to believe that they can go ahead and get maximum points out of these first 5 fixtures. Let's now talk about the runners-up in Arsenal. As we told you earlier, they start the season hosting Nottingham Forest. Remember, they lost 1-0 to Nottingham Forest in the dying stages of the Premier League season last year. But time now for them to possibly make amends and get off to a winning start against an opponent they registered a loss last time around. They then will be travelling to Crystal Palace, which could, as history has suggested in the past, be again one of those fixtures which can go down to the wire, and you do acknowledge the fact that it's not the easiest place to visit as well for many teams. Fulham will then be the next opponent Arsenal will be facing at the Emirates, followed by the big fixture, and for that they will hope that they get the best team together, and they put the best foot forward as well. Arsenal, if they are to again go ahead and make a title challenge this year as well, they'll be hosting Manchester United in the fourth fixture. They beat Manchester United 3-2 and in the home fixture last year, and they'd be hoping for the same to happen this year as well if they are to go ahead and take a step further as far as the title race is concerned. The fifth fixture will be played at Everton, and again one of those fixtures which can go either way. If you ask me, as far as their first five fixtures are concerned, the Palace game followed by the game against Manchester United could be these two fixtures for Arsenal where things could go either way, and they'd want to get maximum points out of these two fixtures. The others, they would want to go ahead and register all three wins, but these two fixtures can go either way for Arsenal. Let's now look at the team that finished third on the Premier League table, and we're here to talk about Manchester United. Now, Manchester United will play host to Wolves to begin with, and then of course Tottenham Hotspur is who Manchester United will be visiting in their second fixture. Again, a fixture which could go either way. Tottenham Hotspur haven't been the most kind as far as to Manchester United over the last few years, and Manchester United will want to go ahead and get a win at the Spurs Stadium. Then Manchester United will go ahead and host Nottingham Forest. By the way, if you see Nottingham Forest, not an ideal sort of run of games for them. They'll be playing both Arsenal and Manchester United in their first three fixtures. The fourth fixture as far as Manchester United are concerned is Arsenal, a fixture that we just spoke of, and Man United would be wanting to make amends after that narrow defeat that they had to face at the Emirates last year. And then again a game, by the way, or rather an opponent Manchester United found difficult to break through last year, and that was Brighton. Manchester United would want to change that this year as they'll be hosting Brighton. They don't have to go to the Amex. It's a home fixture for Manchester United, and they would want to maximize as much as possible. They had a good record, by the way, Manchester United this year at home, and they would want to take that momentum forward the next season as well. The only fixture that concerns me a bit over here is the one against Arsenal, which is where I see Manchester United losing a couple of points maybe, but this run, if Manchester United were told, let's say before this fixture list was announced or before the fixtures were announced, Manchester United would happily have taken these first five fixtures to begin with. Let's now look at some of the other clubs as well, talking now about Newcastle United, the team that finished fourth on the Premier League table. When we talk about all the clubs that we've put together for you, Newcastle's run of games in the first five fixtures looks the toughest if you ask me, because they play Aston, Manchester City, Liverpool and Brighton in the first four fixtures. Now that is an uphill task for any team, and going to the Etihad, hosting Liverpool and then traveling away to the Amex isn't going to be easy. It wouldn't have been easy, let's say, for an Arsenal or a Manchester United as well. So this is where Newcastle United's depth will be tested. This is where their mettle will also be put to test. Let's now shift to focus to Chelsea now. Tricky couple of fixtures to begin with, because hosting Liverpool is never a mean task, so they'll have to really punch above their weight. I would say Liverpool ended the season on a high, but a lot of rebuilding to be done at Chelsea Football Club. So tough one to begin with, followed by a local derby. Not ideal if you ask me for Chelsea. So they travel to West Ham for their second game. Then of course is a game they would want to go ahead and go get all those 3 points if they aren't able to get anything in the first two fixtures, because that doesn't look like an ideal start for Chelsea. Luton Town is who they host in the third game week, followed by games against Nottingham Forest. and Bournemouth. So this is what Chelsea's run of games looks like as far as the first 5 fixtures are concerned. And lastly, before we end this video, let's take a look at Liverpool's fixture. Like we told you earlier, they travel to the Stamford Bridge. That's where the season begins, followed by a game against Bournemouth, then a game against Newcastle United. So these 2 games, rather the first 3 fixtures for Liverpool, out of those I see 2 fixtures being extremely critical for them, and 2 fixtures which will really test this Liverpool team as well, and both away, not ideal from a Liverpool standpoint to go to Stamford Bridge and to be visiting the St James's Park as well, which was at the peak of its powers and the decibel levels towards the end of the season, when Newcastle were really pushing for that 4th spot, rather the 3rd spot to a great extent. We saw how difficult it got for a few teams, including Manchester United and Arsenal, to visit the St James's Park. Then the next 2 fixtures for Liverpool are going to be a home fixture against Aston Villa, and then they will be going to the Molineux as they face Wolves over there. So this is what the breakdown is as far as 6 prominent clubs of the Premier League is concerned. Let us know in the comment section as to how many points you see the teams that we've discussed, how many points do you see them getting in the first 5 round of fixtures. Interesting though as to where things could go next year. Manchester City still look the dominant side, but there is lots happening in the transfer window as well. We'll keep you updated here at Sports Today what's happening as far as the transfer rumors are concerned. But interesting times ahead as we look forward and build up to the 2023-2024 season of the Premier League. I'll be looking forward to your comments, and for now I'll take your leave. Thank you so much, and do like, share and subscribe to Sports Today.